Welcome to Die.Respawn.Game, the channel where we dive into a world of video games, bringing you the latest news and reviews. I'm your host Zip, and with me is our co-host Dragon Teeth.
Hey everyone, we're glad to have you here as we set up to explore the world of Ashes of Creation in its newest live stream.
Ashes of Creation is one of the most highly anticipated upcoming MMORPGs, and we're here to give you our latest take. So hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with all of our newest content.
Alright folks, let's get into our Ashes of Creation live stream review.
Dragon, this month's live stream was on Freeholds. What are your initial takes from the Freehold update?
So, I like the update. I think there's a lot of good stuff going here. I'm a little concerned about the details of how the system is going to be implemented, but we won't really know more about that until we get closer to beta alpha 2 or the beta, where we can get some information. This thing's like how to get a freehold, you have to go through a quest line to get a freehold. So what's that quest line look like? How difficult is it? How time consuming is it? And then once you go through that quest line, you don't get a permit, you get the ability to bid on a permit against other players. And
So,
whenever there's a bidding system, players and communities always get worried about rich players monopolizing things.
sure. So let's start with what is a Freehold?
So sure. So a freehold is a land parcel that a player is able to own and place out in the world. And once you place your parcel, you're able to construct structures that aid you in a wide variety of in-game activities. You can put down farm plots to raise crops. You can put down pastures to raise animals. You can build processing stations. You can build crafting stations. You can I think you can build a tavern, and you can have a player-owned tavern that you can have. There's quite a few options here, and I don't think they've even revealed all of their ideas for what kind of build structures we can build.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a moving target until we get to the game, but they did, as you touched on, talk about how you would get one when it came to a quest line, and then you could bid on the plot, and then you'd be able to take an item in your inventory out and basically build a homestead and take resources to and build it up. It seemed from what they were saying that it would all be the choices that you were made would all be based on the size of the plot, based on the buildings that you're building. So you could build a lot of processing, but then you wouldn't have farm space, or vice versa. What's one of the reasons that you think people are going to have freeholds?
So I mean, obviously the main reason, the big bullet point of Freehold is for people who are interested in crafting and gathering. In Resonance Creation, there's an intern step called processing. And the most efficient processing will happen on Freeholds, full stop. So all of the people who are mid-maxers or really interested in efficiency or the best way to do things, they're going to want a Freehold to get those best processing efficiencies. Whether that is you need less incoming material to make your finished product, whether you make more finished product with the same amount of material, whatever the advantage is, they're going to want that advantage.
So that kind of goes into the fact that they showed us skill trees for particular buildings. What are your thought process? What's your thought process on that, and how do you think they're going to use that to push people to use freeholds?
I think so Steven Sharif and Intrepid Studios, they're really pushing on player choice to be super important in Ashes of Creation. So they love systems where you can't do everything. They love systems where you have to choose a particular path. And when you choose that path, you no longer can go down another path. And they feel that makes your characters unique, your experiences unique, and that gives value to people who have deviated from the same path that you've taken, right? So if, like, for example, if you're a gatherer, you can focus on being a gatherer, but you'll never be able to be the best gatherer and the best crafter. You're going to have to make a choice of one of those two things. So by them adding skill trees even to these crafting and processing benches in your freehold, it's more going to be more of that player choice, more of that you might be the best lumberjack, but you're not going to be the best lumberjack. You're going to be the best lumberjack maybe for a certain band of resources. Let's just call them tier 1 through 4. you're the best lumberjack for tier 1 through 4 resources. So that leaves opportunity for another person to be the best lumberjack for say 5 through 6. And so that will, if it works out right, if it's balanced correctly, if it's tuned right, it provides opportunity for players to find a niche and a home to feel like that what they do in the game is worth something, or they're special in some way.
You did touch on something that I find very interesting in MMORPGs, and that's one of the pillars of this game, and it's risk versus reward, where you're talking about the best processing is going to happen in a freehold, but the best crafting is going to happen in the nodes. So right there, you're required to use a caravan to take your resources from your freehold to a node that has the crafting that you're looking for to utilize them most efficiently. That creates a great opportunity both in defending a caravan, attacking a caravan, getting resources, as well as where you're going to sell them, which really interests me, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
Right. It even goes so much as that if you're a process focused player, a processing minded player, you can just take raw materials from a node, caravan it to your freehold, process everything, and then take that process material back to the node and sell it for profit potentially, right? So there's even that gameplay loop.
So, what was one of the best things that you saw in this live stream?
Well, I'm a little vain, and I think the best thing for me is that they were emoting a chicken dance, and they were able to move their character and continue the emote during the whole movement of the character, which usually gets broken up in most games. So that put a little spark of joy in me, is that you can just kind of meme on people a little bit while running around.
Well, you know me and how much I like to gather. One of the things that I saw that I hope stays, I hope is actually, I am interpreting it correctly. It looks like the gathering tools will have slots of their own. So hopefully they don't take up inventory space, and you don't necessarily have to equip them to use them. You just own them, you put them in the slot, and you get to gather stuff. What is one of the most disappointing things that maybe didn't hit the mark or wasn't exactly what you expected or downright opposite of what you would hope would be in a game like this?
Um, the thing that I didn't like the most is going to have to be this hallousite rock they started the video with that just stuck out in a. So it's a if you watch the video, it's a blue rectangular or squarish mineral that's growing in like your fantasy meadow forest elven kind of background, and it just sticks out way too much for me. I think this sort of mineral should go into a mountainous terrain, a mine, a cave, a cliff face, but just having this very geometric stone, this geometric geode growing out in the forest is just like it catches your eye, draws your eyes to it, and you're like, why hasn't someone else mined this or destroyed this? Or it looks like someone threw a giant cube in a cart and took it to the forest and dumped it somewhere.
It does seem a little out of place. Now I know Steven kind of said it adds a level of magic, or it adds a air of mystery, I guess. I think it just is kind of out of place, and maybe they'll tone down the color or change it so that maybe it's overgrown a little bit more. But
Yeah, maybe if you put some vines on it, some dirt, maybe if it was not as thick, like if they made it more narrow and spindly, it might blend in, like might feel better because it is just a cube. It is a cube. You dropped your companion cube in the forest. It was spray painted blue. Now it's here. Like, I'm not feeling it.
no, I agree with you. So I think as an honorable mention for most disappointing, and maybe not disappointing, but unexpected, is this bag inventory system. I noticed that they had this herbalism bag that wasn't normally. Bags in a lot of games are a 3x6, meaning that it's 3 tall and 6 wide, and that makes 18 slots. This bag was 3 slots in the beginning, followed by alternating top 2, bottom 2. So it seemed like it was designed for particular items where maybe that big blue cube, when Steven mined it during the live stream, it was a 2x2. It really wouldn't fit well in this bag because of how it was set up. But like I said, it was a herbalism bag, which means maybe those plants fit better.
I mean, maybe. I'm not opposed to them trying something new. I just don't want them to throw all the systems into a big smorgasbord of systems and like. So if we have slots, we can make slots work, right? We'll learn all the different bag types are, all the different shapes. We'll play this inventory Tetris. But what I don't want to play this game of shape Tetris and still have to worry about like weight or some other constraint, right? Like one constraint is good enough for me. So I'd rather be like, if we're gonna do shapes, that's great. Give me shapes. Give me a stack limit. We'll call it there. But I don't want to have to worry about shapes and then this rock weighs 5 pounds, and then this piece of cotton weighs 0.1 pounds, and then this stalk of corn weighs half a pound.
I would think that we don't have to worry about that necessarily. I would think that from a developer standpoint, from a design aspect, you're going to ask a lot if you do all of them at the same time. So hopefully that's not where they go, but I completely agree with you. If I have to worry about shape, worry about shape. If I have to worry about weight, let me do that, but throwing it all together is just not where we want to be.
No, it becomes very, very burdensome, and it brings you out of the game. You're managing your inventory more than you are going out and being in the world, right?
So while they were in this freehold, they talked about collectibles and gatherables from different animals, indicating that different animals might actually have several things to collect, i.e., from a cow, you can get both milk and beef. Do you think that adds more gameplay or less gameplay when it comes to, or maybe not less gameplay, but more complexity or unneeded complexity to the game, or do you think it's right where it needs to be?
I'm going to hedge and say it depends, because it depends. We don't know what it takes to raise an animal in Ashes Creation at this point in time, right? I don't know what I need to do to get a cow calf, put it on my pasture, and then raise it up to be a full-grown cow. Like, what is that process determines for me? If that's a hard process, then you're going to want to milk that cow. You're not going to want to slaughter the cow to get its meat because there's such a time investment in there. You're going to want to milk it for like continuous passive income, probably, unless it's super profitable to slaughter the animal. If that makes sense, right? Like we're looking at like human psychology and opportunity costs and sucking cost fallacy kind of stuff, and I don't know, emotional investment in a pixel cow. Like you saw the pig slaughtering animation was a little PG-13 in there, right? Like I don't. Some people are going to not want to do that to their animals that they spent 3 days raising.
Well, that's true. I mean, Steven did ask for audience feedback and all that to see how people feel about it. So we can see what the community feels, but it seems like you said, it depends. What is that beef worth? What is the milk worth? What do they make out of it? Like maybe beef makes one of the best foods in the game that gives you the most attack damage, or maybe milk is, I don't know. I've seen in other games it usually has to correspond with mana or mana regeneration. So it depends. I think I agree with you on that. Are there any other things that you saw in this video, the live stream, that you want to talk about?
I mean, I think this is definitely like the Ashes Creation live streams have been getting more impressive every month. This is another impressive live stream for a game that's not even in Alpha 2. This is definitely steps in the right direction. I like that they are iterating on things that are happening. Hopefully they'll hear some feedback and make small steps, or maybe they've already made the steps and they just need to clarify, hey, we didn't really talk about it enough. Here's how this is going to work, right?
That's true. I think that's probably a great place to conclude this video, but they seem to think about all of the right things. They seem to iterate on the things that need iterated on. They're willing to change stuff to get to the end process, but it seems like their overall vision is staying very constant, which is very ideal for a game of this magnitude. So with that, let's wrap up this live stream review.
All right. Well, hey guys, if you found this review entertaining or if you're excited about Ashes of Creation, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video for us.
Make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss a single update from Die.Respawn.Game. We've got plenty more exciting content coming your way.
All right, so stay tuned for more reviews, gameplay showcases, and discussions about things gaming. Till next time.